Today's episode of Nerd Out is brought to you by MotorCityToyStore.com.
Hey everybody, check it out. You're listening to Nerd Out, the dumbest piece of shit featuring two dumbasses. Just kidding. They're all right. They're doing pretty good. Suck my dick.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerd Out. We have something special today. Brian is not with us, but instead we've got Ryan with us.
Strike the B.
Yeah. So take out the B, then you just have Ryan.
Replace the I with a Y.
Yeah. So this is Ryan Ridley. Ryan Ridley is writer-producer on Adult Swim's Rick and Morty. Also wrote for Community. And also
Blue Mountain State.
Blue Mountain State. And my childhood friend. We met in Hebrew school, did we not?
That's right.
With the famous art contest.
That was not Hebrew school.
Yeah, that was Hebrew school.
No, that was regular school.
No, that was Hebrew school all the way.
What?
We were in Hebrew school. It was Hebrew school. And we had a drawing contest to see who was the better artist.
Uh-huh.
And he drew Spider-Man, and I just created my own character. And his drawing was far superior to mine, and I knew it. But I totally rallied up the other little Hebrew kids and convinced them. It was a popularity contest, and I convinced them that mine was better. And they all voted for mine. And I just knew deep down inside that yours was the better of the two.
Well, now that I realize it was Hebrew school,
Yeah.
it's probably just because they hated me because I'm only half Jewish.
No, they didn't know that.
It would have gone the other way if we had been in regular, secular,
I
Gentile
don't think
school.
so. I think it was truly just because I was far more convincing to the other boys that mine was better. And I was like, hey, this is a popularity contest. This really isn't about the artwork. But I liked yours so much I kept it.
Where is it?
I don't have it now, I guess. So, but I did. I was like, let me have this so I can use it for our files. And yeah.
Well, I've been talking about that incident therapy lately.
Yeah. And how's that going?
It made me because I'm trying to. What?
No, volume.
Faster.
Faster.
Get it
going.
No, it was a traumatizing experience because
Yeah.
it just made me feel like the world was unfair.
Yeah, it is unfair, and and that's proved it. Back to when we were 8 years old, it's probably 10, but Ryan is in town from LA, and he said he wanted to stop by and talk about Rick and Morty. If you haven't seen Rick and Morty, it is on Adult Swim, and season 2 begins July
26.
26th.
I was about to say 2 weeks from today, but this might not go up for another.
No, it'll go up a couple days. I don't think we have a lot of editing. We would have more editing if you would have brought me some cool Rick and Morty
I
swag.
want to apologize if you have watched Rick and Morty. If you're a fan, they just recently released a Mr. Meeseeks plush doll that they were giving away at Comic-Con, and I
Comic-Con.
did not bring one back.
You did not bring one back. Not only that, but you did not bring me back the Force Awakens Stormtrooper.
Come on, give me a break.
I knew that you would not. I knew you would not be able to get it. San Diego Comic-Con just happened. The Force Awakens Stormtrooper, the first Force Awakens action figure. And I asked you to get me one. I knew you wouldn't be able to, but we just had this friend reunion, and like you were coming in a day later, and I was like, please bring me the Stormtrooper. I would love to be able to play with the Stormtrooper. And then you walk in the door and you're like, Randy, no Stormtrooper. Oh, disappointment.
I felt really bad. The thing is, you had to get up and get in line at 7 a.m. to wait in line for hours to get a number.
Right.
Which tells you the time to then come back to wait in another line.
Right. What a pain in the ass. Just for a start. And then the worst thing is like in 2 weeks they're gonna sell them online on their Hasbro
so you're
toy
getting
shop.
one anyway?
Not necessarily. They're gonna sell out quick. Like I'm gonna be like fighting the other nerds to get.
Yeah,
this
but
thing.
you'll be fighting them virtually.
Yes,
I read articles at Comic-Con
what a
that
smelly
people were
mess.
getting like elbowed.
Yeah. I heard that too.
Yeah, I'm like, I ain't dealing with that.
But the panel went well, like a good experience.
It was great, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And any announcement on, we all know that toys is my thing. Any action figures, Rick and Morty action figures?
I'm hoping. I mean, if anyone has seen, and maybe you can link to it or edit it in right here, but they did a promo for season 2 where director Kat Solon directed this commercial that makes it appear to be a 80s, 90s style toy commercial for Rick and Morty toys, and all the toys were sculpted like real action figures, like how any of these would be made, I'm sure, in prototype form, but they are not real. They're just those prototypes. But they're like, did you see the commercial?
It's awesome. And you know what? If they do let me edit it in, here's where I'm going to put it right now.
Rick and Morty action figures, licensed character, merchandise adventure.
Holy crap, Morty, run! We're gonna die! No! Rick will use his portal gun to get us out of here.
Professional actors do not attempt.
Snuffles want to be understood. Help us! Help us! This is pretty weird.
It's about to get a whole lot weirder, Morty.
Make science your bitch.
Rick and Morty action figures available at a toy store near you. Now introducing the Snuffles playset. Every single tiny item sold separately. Nothing comes together.
Cool boy. How much time and money do you think they plopped into this commercial, huh, Morty?
Yeah, no kidding. Can somebody say overkill?
Rick and Morty, all new season premiering Sunday, July 26th at 11:30 p.m. Only on Adult Swim.
Wasn't that awesome? Seriously, that was awesome.
So,
I loved it.
The Morty, I think you like push a button on the back of its head and the eyes bulge out like Ghostbusters figures from the 90s and 80s. And it's like, and I really hope they do it.
I really do too. So do you think season 2 is superior to season 1?
Yes, in many ways. And also, and here's the thing, and I don't want to keep bringing it back to toys.
No, go ahead. That's what we're here for.
But there's so many characters, like you could make, like it could be
the Hawkman. I want the Hawkman. Bird person. Sorry.
Gearhead.
Roboto. Gearhead. Was that
Squanchy,
his name?
Adolf Linkler, Mr. Meeseeks. I mean, every episode has 9 characters that would make great action figures.
I think that's one of the reasons that I'm attracted to the show so much is the fact that there's so many weird, wacky characters. Yeah. And like that appeals to me. Like I love the weird characters. You also do voices for some of these characters. Any major characters?
A lot of people like in episode 9, I think, last season. It was the one with all the different Ricks.
Yeah,
the Council of Ricks. And there's a scene where they're traveling from different dimensions, and there's like a pizza guy ordering phones while sitting on a person. And they go to the next dimension, and it's a chair sitting on a pizza ordering phones, and it just keeps cycling through. And I'm the guy who always goes, black people, or black people, white people, no, white people, and Hispanic on half. And then the next thing, I'm like, beanbag chair, recliner, and stool on half. You know, I don't even remember the line, but it's me and Tom Kenny are the 2 characters.
That's awesome.
And so that's my iconic. But season 2, look out for the Lighthouse Keeper. Which will make it a great action figure. And who else do I play? Cousin Tony.
The taxi.
You don't know these characters
Cousin
yet.
Tony. Did you play some sort of taxi driver?
In the promo for season 2, I'm the guy at the end of the commercial who says, "Excuse me," because Rick goes, "Let's get out of here."
Right.
Excuse me, I'm not the voice of Rick, but Morty, let's get out of here so we can destroy this whole universe. And then I go, "Excuse me?"
Yeah, I'm the
taxi driver.
I'm super excited. Super excited.
And Stephen Colbert does the voice of the the alien from that episode. That's the same species as the taxi driver.
Cool. What other famous actors can we expect doing voices that you can reveal?
Adult Swim PR says only talk about Stephen Colbert. But you know what? This is Nerd Out.
This is Nerd Out.
We break the rules.
You're reaching 200 people here.
I know. So
who do we got? Come on.
Okay, season 2 we've got.
This is how
Stephen
great
Colbert.
All right.
We've got Werner Herzog.
Ooh.
We've got Jim Rash, who plays the Dean Peltman Community. Gosh, I'm completely forgetting now. Matt Walsh from UCB, Matt Besser from UCB. Joan, what's her name from Mad Men, the redhead?
Oh, yeah, January Jones.
Christina Hendricks.
Oh no, okay. The
Christina Hendricks
with the full figure.
Yeah,
she's wonderful.
Man, I should have started and built up to Steve.
Yeah, you're going back.
But like, I mean, there's lots of Keegan Michael Key.
That's good. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, good.
Is he the one from Detroit? Isn't he from Detroit?
Yeah.
That's cool. He's from Detroit or Detroit suburbs, one or the other. That's cool. So what a process. Any other little tidbits that we should know about Rick and Morty or
I like it when the show explores the mythology and we don't just. I like to treat the show like it's a serious sci-fi show.
Yeah, that's when I like
that happens to have jokes because the characters are funny, right?
I agree.
So like, I don't like it when we do episodes like we did an episode from last season that was like, they go to Pluto and it's this kind of climate change and it's fine, but I'm like, I like it when it's like actual like this would be a sci-fi movie if it wasn't a Rick and Morty episode. That's why I like the Council of Ricks episode, which I wrote, which is the one we were just talking about. Because I'm like, that's a premise that would be an awesome movie, you know?
I agree.
And it's also treated very dark and epic. The ending is very dark. There's the reveal of the evil Morty with the eye patch. Who'd make another great action figure. And it's like, and a lot of people want to know, like, is he coming back? Like, how is that storyline going to play out? And it's like, we wrestle with that. We're like, do we do it right away in season 2, or do we like do a bunch of new stuff? And then in season 3, it's like all this stuff gets kind of tied together. So season 2, we focus on another villain that appears that's equally as you know, a threat or like equally like powerful.
Okay.
And you don't really, it sort of builds up through the season. There's like sort of hints to it, and then it all culminates. Boy, they really don't like when I talk about this stuff. But can I swear?
You can say anything you want. I do.
Screw him!
Yeah, screw him's fine. I do bust Brian's balls when he says the F-bomb.
Yeah, well, I'm classy. I'm a professional.
Screw him, you can do. I do love the science fiction element. Like, I love seeing the designs, the character designs, and the spaceships, and like, don't get me wrong, I don't consider myself like you know, a comedy expert or anything like that. I do enjoy the humor, but it really is like the adventure and the science fiction aspects that really get me about that show.
I mean, the second episode,
the mech suit that the dog wears, awesome. Man.
No, that's the thing is that, I mean, you know, me and Randy have been best friends since we were kids, and I'm looking around, and the first thing that happened when I got here, I'm just going through every single toy, because even though I don't collect toys, like, love the designs of all these different characters. And Justin, who's the co-creator of the show and the voice of Rick and Morty, same way. His house is like a more chaotic version of this. It is just like nonsense, but also tons of action figures and stuff. So we'll just talk about, okay, this character needs to look like this toy, or literally Gearhead was based on
Roboto, right? From
yes.
And Birdman is totally from Buck Rogers. I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's wonderful. I always wanted an action figure that Buck Rogers character.
So think about it. We're not like pulling together, like, it's not like it's an episode with, you know, Luke Skywalker and Optimus Prime, but it's like, what if, like, it was a character like this character from this property, and then also meets this character, and it's like, but then they're an original thing. So it's like, yeah, Bird Person is like the guy from Buck Rogers meeting a guy from like a He-Man action figure. You know? And it's like, to me, and so we get although I think we might be having a different crew in the second season, because the problem is, when you're really talented and you're working on a show, then you get poached.
Right.
So I think we might have lost our art director, James McDermott, who's incredibly talented. And, like, we would go and talk to him and be like, okay, well, it's like from this movie, this spaceship, this thing. And, like, and then you draw, like, 9 versions. And, like, oh, my God, they're all awesome. Like, every single character you see in the show, there's 20 versions that are like, it could look like this or like this. I mean, you see this all the time.
And they all look good, probably, too.
Yeah, and they all look amazing. And
I wish they still did cell animation so I could, like, totally call you up and be like, hey, send me some cells, but...
There's no cells.
There's no cells.
At Comic-Con, you know, because the show's getting bigger, there are people running up to Dustin and Dan with, like, their own, like, not cells, but, like, they made really nice glossy.
I see,
and, like, can you sign this? Can you sign it? Like, and then it was funny because this guy comes to Harmon with a stack of Bird Person images because he did the voice. And
he did do that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Dan goes, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, like, the third one goes, you know, the first 3 I felt flattered, and then now I just feel exploited. Like, he's got a stack that he's clearly going to sell.
Right.
You know?
Making money on your intellectual property.
Yeah. And they're not fans. Like, you get the fans who come up with the one DVD and they're like, can you sign this? You know? And those are fans. Those are like purists, and those people are just
now they're just knocking off your shit.
Yeah,
I guess.
So anyway, but and by the way, there's a whole team of people there's literally artists who, like, they're called prop designers, and their specialties, they draw the spaceships, the weapons, anything that's held or driven or whatever. There's character designers and there's background, and they're all so talented.
Oh, I bet.
It's like, it's working, it's just like, you run around a room and you're like, my job is to look at a guy drawing awesome aliens and then being like, no, make it look more like a lobster with a dick, and, you know, it's just that's your job, is to, it's awesome.
Do you guys design any personalities off people you know, or is it pretty much just like
personalities?
Like character personalities. Like, are there, like, do you take people you know and say, this guy's like gonna be neurotic about creamy sauces or something? I don't know.
I see where you're
I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, do you
I
do
mean,
that?
You know, it's like, you know, art. That's the thing, is all the characters are like from the episode where the party episode that introduced Gearhead and all these characters.
That was the best one. That was my favorite.
They're like it was.
Yeah, because there was so much going on, and like I said, like, I'm really obsessed with the the characters and the different designs. Again, I'm an action figure collector, and that's what it's like. People criticize me for liking Jupiter Ascending, and I get it. It was a bad movie. Like Brian and Andy will bust my balls for it, but there was a lot of crazy creatures and character designs and spaceships, and that really just it enthralls me.
It makes the world feel
large and interesting.
Yeah, and so to answer your question, so that's the episode of a bunch of different aliens and teenagers, and they're all partying together, and it's like. There's a character, for instance, based on a friend of ours that if you remember the episode, he's the character who at the end yells "Party!" He runs out into this alien's mouth, and then at the end it's like he's teamed up with Adolf Linkler and whatever. Not teamed up, but that's something we want to do. Right. But anyway, the point is that's literally the guy who voiced the character.
Okay.
Is that guy.
Okay, that's cool.
And so then there's other characters it's this. I mean, Gearhead's voiced by a friend of ours, Scott Chernoff, and he's kind of like. What if Scott Chernoff, the human being, was actually a gear-based species alien?
Gotcha.
So it's funny when it's all these action figures. Most of them are pretty cool, badass people. But what about the Star Wars characters that are fat and don't work at Jabba's palace? You know what I mean? Aren't there are they funny? Or are they so that's the idea.
That's cool. That's cool. So what else is?
By the way, I said fat and don't work at Jabba's palace, as if Gamorrean guards aren't fat.
Not only that, but Jabba himself was quite quite a heavy fella.
Jabba's neurotic cousin is.
And we really don't know about Bib Fortuna because he wore the long robes. He could have been fat under. He could have had a good belly. Right.
A lot of
could have had tits for all we
know.
You know, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh man, well it's awesome to have. I gave you. This is what a good friend I am. You admired my Batman Returns Penguin figure from Mattel, and the best I could do was not give you my nice fixed one, but I gave you one that I broke his hand off.
Listen, the way I'm going to treat it, believe me, it makes more sense to give me this version. This is not going to go on a shelf.
I'm going to give you that, and then I'm going to give you pressure to give me a Meeseeks doll. Dude.
I'm so sorry. I should have had a Meeseeks doll here. But the point is, I texted you in December. I was in Boston at a comic book store, and when I saw this on the shelf, I was so excited because in 1993, when Batman Returns came out, they released the Batman Returns action figures and made everybody, including the villain Penguin, but for some reason just decided to be totally cheap and lazy and just repainted the Superpowers Penguin, which is just the cartoon version. Clearly not Danny DeVito.
And it's ridiculous because it's the one character in the entire movie that you wanted to see.
What were they thinking?
Oh my god.
Why would they do it for everybody? Just do it for everybody. Or just do it for Batman.
Absolutely. It was true. It was ridiculous. It's let's see, which character has the most personality? It's Penguin. Let's take our old ass sculpt and just paint it black.
It doesn't fit in any way. No. Just, we'll make the colors darker.
Right. I think that was so weak. I don't even think we shoplifted that thing back in 1993.
I'll talk about shoplifting in a second. I got a good story for that. I texted him and I saw this and I was just like, they did it.
They did it.
They finally did it.
They did it well.
It looks
Congrats
amazing.
to Mattel. It does look good. Even with only one. Wait, it's not a hand. What is it? What would you call that?
I'm just gonna shove a nub. I'm just gonna shove the umbrella directly into it. That's
there you go. See, now you created a whole new character.
This is what do you call them?
Custom.
Yeah, I'll sell it.
Yeah.
But so when we were in high school, there was one incident where you allowed.
No, go ahead.
Is there a statute of limitations?
I think we're good.
I was always terrified to do anything immoral.
Right.
I just felt like I was going to be punished by God. I was going to suffer some consequence.
But Jewish
not anymore.
No, Jewish guilt is gone.
But there was one time I'm like, I'm going to shoplift because it seems like I'd be cooler if I did. So we went to a Toys R Us. And I looked around and there was a Bucky O'Hare action figure.
I already know where this is going.
I mean, why? Of anything I could shoplift.
And it wasn't even Bucky O'Hare, was it? It was like Bucky O'Hare's sidekick, Phil.
his gopher mechanic or something. Right. So I ripped the blister thing open.
This was at Children's Palace too back in the day.
No, this is Toys R Us.
Oh, this was Toys R Us? Okay, I'll trust you.
And I take the toy and I shove it down my pants. And I'm terrified the whole time and shaking. And there was a cluster of us. I mean, you remember this.
Oh, yeah, it was a whole crew of us.
And so I'm like, oh my God, I did it. And then all of a sudden this woman comes around the corner. And she just looks like a regular woman. She's not wearing Toys R Us clothes or anything like that.
She was, what do you call that? They planted. She
was a
plant.
Secret shopper, but security or something.
Right.
And she comes around the corner and she's like, one of you just stole a toy. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going down. And I go, and this might be where maybe this is not a moral skill to have, but I remember I just was like, okay, Ryan, you gotta do this. And I just go, No, we saw them too, and they went. We saw them put the toy in their pants, and then they went. I think they went over that way.
You were so descriptive. I'm like, they actually put it in their
yeah. I was like the guy was wearing a Tiger's shirt, and then I remember like I just must have really been selling it, which is why I'm saying like I clearly have a power that was being used for bad.
And no disrespect, but
she actually went at the end. Thank you, and then took off. And I was like,
"Oh, that's."
And then I'm like, "Let's go!" And I remember we walked out, and it's like the first, you go to the airlock in Toys R Us. The first door comes out. I walk out, and I'm like slow motion. I step, and I feel the Bucky O'Hare, and it slips down.
Oh, you didn't even
get slips out of my pant leg, and it drops on the floor, and then and I walk out.
You
leaving the Bucky O'Hare behind.
Bucky, no.
Yeah, I didn't even officially shoplift.
Oh man, good thing you're an upstanding.
God, do you have that Bucky O'Hare figure?
What's his name? I probably have. Is it one of the Toads?
I swear it would have. I must have gone for Bucky O'Hare.
Well, you might have. I hope you did. Because if you just went with like a Toad Marshal.
I mean, that was Oh, by the way, Justin in his office has. His office is literally like this, but it's like he's got Bucky O'Hare toys pinned up in the blister pack, the whole line. It's like,
do you ever get tempted to walk by it and just steal it from Justin? Like rip it open?
I don't know. No, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Randy,
I'm sorry.
How dare you? Yeah. But he's got his thing is he's got like all like the worst toys. He's got like the Police Academy toys in the blister packs, like everything that the opposite of this.
Oh yeah, I have a closet. I have bins of crap. I have a reputation for liking really bad movie action figures. Like I've got a collection of Waterworld figures. Like if it was like an unsuccessful movie, I have a collection like Wild Wild West. I don't know why.
Action figures?
Yeah, they're terrible. I like Van Helsing. Like I like all the terrible movies that came out that did just like flop. Like Congo.
There's something more special about those toys.
Yes, the failure.
There's 10,000 different versions of a Luke Skywalker.
Absolutely.
And then there's 10,000 versions of everybody else, including the most obscure.
And then there's one Dennis Hopper from Waterworld.
Exactly. There's something so cool, and it's like the 1992 mold design sculpt style, and it's like, and then there's 6 Waterworld figures, and that's it. And there'll never be any more.
That's my set, right?
I mean, I love that too.
That's exactly what it is.
The Robin Hood Prince of Thieves action figures.
Got a complete set of those.
I had those too. I had those pinned to my wall.
Yeah, yes, they didn't.
Non-ironically,
man, I swear to God, when we were young, when we were collecting comics and toys, I swear you had this beautiful condition Superpowers tire hanging on your wall, and it was like gem mint. Like I'm talking like. All the corners were perfectly straight, and I think next thing I knew, it was on your brother's floor, like half ripped open, and I would walk in there, and I'd just be like, "No!" Like, how could you? You just were. Oh,
this is entirely
this is so impressive. On that note, we're probably running out of time anyway. I want to thank Ryan Ridley for joining us here on Nerd Out, and next week, just go ahead and
your dad.
Yeah. Oh, that's about the answer. Nice. Thank you for Ryan Ridley for joining us on Nerd Out. Next week, Brian will be back, and we'll bitch about some toy. And thank you all. Please subscribe. Check us out on Instagram. I put a lot of pictures, and check out Ryan Ridley and whatever shit he does as well.
Thank you.
And July 26th,
11:30 p.m.
on a. Go ahead.
Adult Swim.
Rick and Morty season 2. So everyone, nerd out!
I'm going home because Randy doesn't play fair.